Today in algebra we talked about using the FOIL method for multiplying polynomials. Later on in the week we're going to talk about the box method as well, which might be your preference, but today we're just going with FOIL. We started by recalling some old information, like how to multiply things with exponents. So this is what we've been doing the last couple weeks. 3 times 6 is 18. Then I add up my exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5. Or something like 2r squared t times 5t cubed. 2 times 5 is 10, and add up all my r's and t's. There's only one set of r's, so that's r squared. And then I've got 1t here and 3 t's here, 4t to the 4th power. Let's do one with 3 groups. That'd be like 1/3 a to the 3rd b times a squared c squared times 6b squared. When I have 3 groups, I multiply each number first. So 1/3 times 1 is 1/3, and 1/3 times 6 is 2. And then I have, I don't need that parentheses, sorry, a to the 3 plus 2 is 5, b to the 3rd, 1 plus 2 is 3, and c squared. So my answer is 2a to the 5th, b to the 3rd, c squared. And that would be my full answer. Then we started on some new stuff, like how to multiply a monomial, or one term, times several terms. The way that we do that is by using distribution. I'm going to look at a couple of examples. Number 1, if I do 5 times x squared plus x plus 4, I want to distribute that 5 to each term. So 5 times x squared is 5x squared, 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times 4 is 20. So I have 5x squared plus 5x plus 20. And that's my final answer. Let's try another one. 4a times a squared b plus 2b squared. I'm going to start by multiplying 4a times a squared b, which is 4a cubed b, plus, because there's a plus sign in between here, and now this part, 4a times 2b squared would be 8ab squared. Those are not like terms, so that's my final answer. Example 3, 3ab times 5a squared plus b. 3 times 5 is 15, a to the 3rd power b, 1a plus 2 more is 3b, plus, that's the sign in between, 3ab times b is 3ab squared. So each one of these has one term in the front being multiplied times several terms, and we just distribute. The second thing that we learned was how to use the FOIL method. FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, and then last. This is a very important concept in math, and one that most people are able to kind of remember and memorize pretty well. In fact, most people who are out of school and have been for a long time can tell you this is one of the things they remember the most about Algebra 1 or about high school math, so it's real important, it never goes away. Example 4 is x plus 2 times x minus 5. And we use FOIL when we're multiplying two binomials, or two things with two terms. So to do that, I'm going to use my first term in each, x times x in this case, and x times x is x squared. Then I'm going to do my outside. That would be my x and my negative 5. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. Then my inside two terms, the ones in the middle there, 2 times x is 2x. And then my last two, 2 times negative 5, which is negative 10. Then if I add my middle terms, or my like terms, negative 5 and 2x, I get x squared minus 3x minus 10. The reason that middle term comes out negative is because negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. Example number 5 was x plus 5 quantity squared. If something is squared, that means to just multiply it by itself. So that's what I'm going to do here. X plus 5 times x plus 5. And then I'm going to follow my FOIL method. X times x is x squared. Outside, x times 5 is 5x. Inside, 5 times x is 5x. And last, 5 times 5 is 25. Then I can combine my like terms, which again are usually the ones in the middle. 5x and 5x makes 10x plus 25. That's my final answer. Let's try one with different signs. Example 6. A plus 3 times a minus 4. Okay, a times a is a squared. That was first. Outside, a times negative 4 is negative 4a. Inside, 3 times a is 3a. And last, 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. If I add my middle terms, I have a squared, and then negative 4 plus 3 would be negative a minus 12. Notice if I put some eyes here, I've got 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and this is the foil man. If you put those little eyeballs there, that should help you check that you've done the right thing. I'm going to kind of shorten your notes here just a little bit because I don't think you probably need this many on the podcast, although we did a little bit more in class. I'm going to just do 2 more. So example 7 might be different than the copy of the notes that I gave you, but we're just going to move on. This was example 8 for us today. X plus 4 times x minus 4. Let's see what happens here. This is a special case when they have the same number and a different sign in between. If I do my first, x times x is x squared. Outside, x times negative 4 is negative 4x. Inside, 4 times x is 4x. And last, 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. You'll notice in the middle that I've got negative 4x and 4x, and those two cancel out. So my answer is x squared minus 16. Actually, that will happen anytime you have the exact same thing with a different sign in between. Let's look at one more example, a little bit more complicated maybe, and that is 2a minus b squared times a plus 4b squared. What makes this a little bit complicated is there's variables and numbers in several of these terms. Let's do the first. 2a times a is 2a squared. The outside, 2a times 4b squared is 8ab squared. Inside, negative b squared times a is negative 8b squared. And last, negative b squared times 4b squared would be negative 4b to the fourth. If I combine my like terms here in the middle, I'm going to get 2a squared, and then 8 minus 1 is 7ab squared minus 4b to the fourth. And that's my final answer. And that's it for today's notes. Your assignment is A2, and that's page 497, and you're going to do numbers 2 through 18 even. The first couple are like the first couple that we recalled from last week or the week before. The next group is like part A, and the last few are like part B. Good luck. Let me know if you run into problems.